I read a study recently that was done by the Centre of Bible Engagement. This was a study that was conducted on 40,000 people. And what it found is that if you read your Bible 2 to 3 times in a week, it has very little impact on your life. However, if you read your Bible 4 times or more within a week, that's where the real change comes into play. And I found the statistics really, really interesting. Loneliness dropped by 30%. Anger issues dropped by 32%. Bitterness in relationships dropped by 40%. And the desire to watch adult material dropped by 60%. There were other statistics as well, which I also found really eye-opening. And I really thought, this is a really interesting invitation to up my Bible reading and see what changes it could possibly have in my life. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are doing well. If you're new here, my name's Amanda, and on this channel I make quite literally whatever content I fancy making. And in today's video, I am starting the process of writing the Bible out by hand. This is something that I've been thinking about doing for some time, but I'm finally getting around to it, not making any excuses and getting it done. So, I don't know where I'm going to start in the Bible. I'm just going to kind of go with my gut. But before we get into that, I thought I would share with you what I'm going to be using for this process. Okay, so first things first, the Bible. Obviously, this would be quite difficult to do without the Bible. Now, of course, you can do this if you don't have a physical Bible. You can find the Bible online. Just Google the Bible and you'll find it. You can pick a version of interest, but I'm going to use my Bible that I have here. It's the NIV version, the New International Version. You will have seen this Bible in an unboxing if you've been on my channel since then. This is what I will be using. And I just, within the past month, I bought myself this journal from Amazon, and I just thought it was the perfect one for what I need it for. And it's just lined and blank inside. Gives me plenty of space to work with. And it also has these fabric things, these divider situations, these things. I can't remember what they're called. Maybe they might say, yes, ribbon markers, using my Bible box to help me. Yeah, but it has 2 ribbon markers, a red one and a brown one, and I think that would be handy as we work through this process. But yeah, that's what I'm going to be using. I've got a pen, nothing fancy, just a regular pen. And those are my materials. I don't suspect I will be using much else other than these 2 things. However, I do also have some like journaling crayons that I can use if I wish to highlight things. These are the Bible crayons. I got these. Did I get them off Amazon? I can't remember, but they are called Bible Brights. I'm trying to help you to see this. There you are. Bible Brights. And they come in different colours, and I think they'll be handy, and it ensures that there's no like bleed through, because we don't want that. I also thought the nice thing about using this journal is that it's a good way of keeping things safe I mean, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I don't know, maybe for generations, the next generation down or the generation after that, they can refer back to what their relative was doing, and writing the Bible by hand. But yeah, so I'm going to relocate myself to the floor because I just fancy sitting on the floor today. And then we'll get started. Right, so I have been having a little think as to whether I should be starting in the Old Testament or the New Testament. Now, I think a lot of people would probably start in the New Testament. It's usually what you say to new believers as well. Start with the New Testament because they go head first into lots of Jesus pieces, lots of Jesus talking, like it's like a Jesus boot camp. The Gospels, the Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. If you're wondering who Jesus is, just read Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and you'll have a very, very solid base understanding. However, when I read the Bible cover to cover some years ago, I started from Genesis and read all the way through to Revelation, and that didn't feel wrong. And I feel more led to follow that same pattern again. So I'm going to start with Genesis. I really enjoy Genesis. I would say it's one of my favourite books in the Bible. I don't know. And there's something about starting the Bible from the beginning that just feels right. It feels like good for the soul. So yeah, I'm just going to start at Genesis. And yeah, I'm really excited about this process. I think this is a wonderful way to get myself out of the little rut that I've been in recently. So yeah, I'm going to just start writing. And also, what's great about this actually, or kind of funny about this, when I was little, I used to love getting whatever book I was loving at the time and then getting some paper and writing out that book by hand. So it's kind of like a full circle moment. I've gone from doing that with my little storybooks, like Little Red Riding Hood, and now with the Bible. I'm not going to write on the first page of the journal. I always find that's a bit of a strange page. It never sits quite well. So I'm going to leave this one, and this actually might be quite handy to write any bits and pieces that I think may be relevant. So I'm going to skip that page. I think I might actually skip this page as well, and I will write on the third page. Okay. Question is, what do I do? Do I write Genesis somewhere? Maybe I could write Genesis up here. Or down here. Maybe I'll put it here. Okay. Right. And for anyone else partaking in this exercise, or perhaps you're not going to be writing the Bible, maybe you're just going to read it, may this also get you out of a rut as well and bring us back to a nice solid foundation. I also have a cup of tea as well. Okay, starting with the beginning. Should I write the headers as well? Yeah, I'll write the headers as well. The beginning. Okay, so in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now, the earth was formless and empty. Darkness was over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. Okay, so that is Genesis 1, 1 to 2 so far. So in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now the earth was formless and empty, darkness was over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. Also, just one thing whilst I remember, another thing that I'm going to be doing, if something pops out at me, because I think this will probably start happening, simply just because I'm writing this out, it's a slower pace than reading. I am going to use my Bible to put anything in the margins that I think needs to be noted. I've got these margins to note anything as I go along, and I think that would be really, really helpful. And God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. So I've just written out Genesis 1, verse 1 through to 8. And I was already making note of something that I hadn't actually made note of in the past when I had read the Bible. It seems that during the whole creation, each day has its assigned task, if you will. So, Genesis 1, verse 3, and God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. God saw that the light was good, and he separated the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And there was evening, and there was morning, the first day. Okay, so that's the first day. Light and darkness. But light, essentially. Because darkness is just the absence of light, so it's all light, isn't it, really? And God said, "Let there be a vault between the waters to separate water from water." So God made the vault and separated the water from under the vault from the water above it. And it was so. God called the vault sky, and there was evening, and there was morning, the second day. So light, water, and God said, "Let the water under the sky be gathered to one place, and let dry ground appear." And it was so. God called the dry ground land, and the gathered waters he called seas. And God saw that it was good. So it's really interesting how this progression continues. But it feels like every day has its appointed task. I don't know why, but something about that I find quite interesting. Light, water slash the sky, and then ground, the ground and the water. Then as it continues further on, we get into vegetation in general. I think what strikes me about this, and I don't know, this is maybe just how my brain is thinking about things, but in this day and age, we really love to talk about or value when people do the absolute most. Even I personally, I love having a to-do list with 110 things to tick off. And realistically, having just one thing to do per day is probably not super practical when you have a day job. You have things to do, but there wasn't a rush. That's what I'm getting at. There wasn't a rush. It didn't feel like a rushed process. It didn't feel like, okay, we need to hurry up today. We need to do light. We need to get the sky. We need to do ground, vegetation. Okay, the animals. Let's get everything into place. Quick, fast, fast. So my brain is like, okay, so how have we strayed so far from this natural creativity, this natural ease of creativity, this gradual creativity in our normal day-to-day lives? That's really interesting to me. And I do feel like that is definitely food for thought. This reminds me of a book that my friend bought me. What is it called? Was it The Ruthless something to do with hurry? The Relentless Chase of Hurry? There was something. I'll find the title and I'll put it on the screen now. But I did find that book really interesting, and it was all about, like keeping the Sabbath and what real rest looks like and all of those sorts of things. I would definitely recommend giving it a read. But yeah, I think this is going to be a really, really interesting process, going through the Bible cover to cover and, word by word writing what is written in this wonderful book. And I think there are going to be so many eye-opening moments, and it can do nothing but good for the soul, for the mind, and I think it's going to be a wonderful, mindful experience. So yeah, do let me know if you're going through a similar process like this, or perhaps it may have inspired you to do the same. If you are interested in these types of videos, please let me know what more I could share with you that you would think would be beneficial. If you would just like a simple, handwrite the Bible with me, video where I just sit down and I literally just sit there writing it in silence, just so that, like a study, it'd be like a study with me type video, so that you can do the same wherever you are, then I'm happy to do that. If you want a more vocal type video where I offer my thoughts and opinions on things as I go, let me know. I'm really happy to adjust accordingly, because ultimately I would love to share this process with you, even if it helps one person. So do not hesitate to let me know in the comment section below. It also keeps me accountable too, knowing that there are others that are joining on the journey. So yeah, thank you so much for joining me on this video. I'm going to leave it here, but I will see you in the next one, and take care.